Lewis Hayden's Fight for Rights.
In the 1800s, slaves in America were fighting for the rights to gain freedom. Lewis Hayden, a former slave, helped African American people gain freedom and rights through many fights against oppression. He also joined groups like the Wide Awakes that were responsible for electing an anti-slavery president, Abraham Lincoln. These actions led to Congress passing amendments which gave African Americans the right to be free. Many selfless people, white men and slaves alike, fought for others to receive the lives that the white men had at the time. Their actions greatly impacted history, and Hayden was one of these selfless men. Lewis Hayden, an African American, was born into slavery in 1811. His mom and 3 brothers were sold when he was young. A few years after his mom was sold, he was traded for carriage horses. At age 29, Hayden was sold to a cruel slaveholder who was quick with his whip. During this time, he taught himself to read with the Bible and papers his owner had discarded. Then he was sold to a hotel owner where he met his second wife, Harriet, who a different person owned, and they had one child named Joseph. The Hayden's journey to freedom would begin a whole new start for them, and they may not have even realized it.
The last time Lewis Hayden was sold, he worked in a restaurant. At this restaurant, he met the couple who would end up helping him, his wife, and their child escape to freedom. The couple that Lewis Hayden met were Calvin Fairbank and Delia Webster. Calvin was a Vermont preacher. He and Delia were both operators of the Underground Railroad. On the night of Saturday, September 28, 1844, Lewis helped his wife Harriet and their son Joseph get away from their master's house, as Lewis was owned by a different person than his wife and son. That night, they met up with Calvin, Delia, and Israel. Israel was also enslaved, and they hired him to drive them. First, they went to the Ohio River, where the Haydens were left to finish the journey themselves, then to Sandusky, Ohio, and then to Canada. While the Haydens were on their way into Canada, they learned that Calvin, Delia, and Israel had been captured as they returned to Lexington. Calvin was sentenced to 15 years, 5 years for each slave that he had helped escape. Israel was tortured until he gave up the routes on which the Haydens used to escape to freedom. The Haydens stayed in Canada for 6 months before moving to Boston. After Lewis Hayden gained freedom, he felt he had the responsibility to help others be free because he believed everyone deserved the same rights.
The Haydens arrived in Boston as a free family. While there, Lewis became a prominent person in the African American community. He was a part of many local organizations. These organizations were fighting for anti-slavery laws and fighting against racism. Hayden wanted to join the Republican Party in Boston as they were known for anti-slavery policies. Lewis Hayden's goals were to desegregate Boston, protect the rights of African American people to vote, and integrate the local Boston schools. At first, Lewis Hayden was a member of the Know Nothing Party. This party was very big in the 1850s. This group was known for its anti-immigration policies. After the Know Nothing group, Lewis Hayden decided to join the Wide Awakes. Most of the members of the Boston Wide Awakes were former slaves. If they were not former slaves, then they were African Americans born in Boston. The first march of the Boston Wide Awakes occurred in March of 1860. 144 African American men marched to rally people to vote for Abraham Lincoln. The Wide Awakes wanted Lincoln to win the election because he was the Republican candidate who was anti-slavery. The biggest Wide Awake march occurred in New York. This march was called the Grand Procession. Thousands of Wide Awake members from all over the country supported Abraham Lincoln in this march. This procession took 2 hours to pass. These marches went on all through the presidential race. When the time came to vote, Lincoln won with 180 votes.
On January 1, 1863, during the third year of the Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which said that all people held as slaves in the Confederate States would now be free. This speech was called a necessary measure of war because it ruined the Confederacy's use of slaves in the war. The Civil War was a fight for the freedom of all people living in America. Lewis Hayden played an important role in the Civil War by fighting for the rights of African Americans to serve in the Union Army. He helped recruit troops for the 54th Regiment, the first regiment of African Americans in the North. 180,000 black soldiers were enlisted. These men were a crucial part of winning the war, which caused Lincoln to have a boost in morale and manpower, which made him realize that the destruction of slavery was important. The Confederate States were fighting to maintain slavery, while the others were fighting for the freedom of all slaves. Before the Civil War had ended, Congress passed the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which says Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. After the Civil War's conclusion, Lewis Hayden was elected as one of the first African American men on the Massachusetts General Court and a member of the state legislature. While in this position, Hayden supported the women's suffrage movement and served on the Committee of Women's Suffrage. Lewis Hayden continued in this position until he died on April 7, 1889.
As a result of the 13th Amendment, white Southerners passed laws known as the Black Codes, which kept the freedmen from exercising their rights. Congress responded by passing the Civil Rights Act in 1866 to ensure black citizenship. Congress overrode President Andrew Johnson's veto and went even further by creating two constitutional amendments, the 14th Amendment, which gave black people citizenship, and the 15th Amendment, which allowed black men to vote. These amendments have had a forever impact on the rights of African Americans. Without the win of the Civil War, these amendments wouldn't have been passed. The black men who came together to fight for our country showed that everyone has the right to express freedom. Their responsibility to fight against the oppression is like no other.
Through dedication and leadership by example, Lewis Hayden rallied countless supporters in the struggle against slavery and oppression. His accomplishments are a testament to the power of active resistance in the quest for social justice and change. Becoming a distinguished member of many groups, like the Wide Awakes, all fighting against slavery, has inspired new generations of activists dedicated to helping other races secure their unalienable human rights. The past group of Wide Awakes started a campaign that remains important today. The Sunrise Movement is one of these groups. They hold peaceful protests that support what they believe in. The Sunrise Movement has many groups across the country fighting to end the use of fossil fuels and fighting for politicians to sign the Green New Deal.
Our planet is under attack! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! When our planet is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! When our planet is under attack! What do we do? This is what the movement looks like! Show me what the movement looks like! This is what the movement looks like! Rise up till it's won. When the people rise up, then the powers come down. When the people rise up, the powers come down.
They come together and march down streets, singing songs and chanting phrases like the Wide Awakes. Lewis Hayden's story is a powerful reminder that freedom must be fought for. Hayden's friend, Walker de Morte, said, "He has been foremost in every struggle for equal public rights. He was a man with pride of a race uppermost in his reform efforts, but never forgot the rights of other races."